picture this. You just picked up your first puppy. You're so excited and you want to get started with the training straight away so you can set her up for the rest of her life. So you teach her sit, lay down and paw, and she gets it straight away. You teach her to relax in her bed and she understands that as well. So you think to yourself, now it's time to socialise her. And because you don't want her to be mean, you let her meet every person and every dog she sees so she can see them as fun. But then you skip forward 6 months and she's now dragging you all over the place. She almost pulls you over every time she sees a dog, and every time someone walks past your house, she's out the front barking at them. And it's not because she's aggressive. She hasn't got a bad bone in her body. It's just because she was socialised the wrong way. I want to help you get a full understanding of what socialisation actually is, so you don't end up getting it wrong. Also, don't believe what they tell you online. Socialisation isn't just for puppies. You can socialise a dog at any age. And the first thing we need to talk about is, what actually is socialisation? Now, where a lot of people go wrong is they think, well, I don't want my dog to be aggressive. I want them to be playful. I want them to like people. I want them to like kids. I want them to like other dogs. So the next time we see a person on a walk, I'm going to take them over and I'll let them stroke them. I'll let them play. I'll let them do all of that. Next time I see a dog, same thing. Next time I see a family, I'll ask if they can meet the kids. All of these things, just so in our mind, oh, he's not going to be aggressive to kids, is he? He's not going to be aggressive to other dogs. But all that happens is, when you do this, he starts to see people and other dogs as overwhelmingly fun all the time. Because every time you've seen a dog, you've gone over to play. Or another person, you've gone over for a stroke or gone over for attention. So all this does in the dog's mind is add up to, whenever I see anything, dog, person, kid, whatever, I'm going to get overly excited and I'm going to try and pull over there to see them. Obviously, this isn't what we want. We want to show them how to actually be social. That's all socialisation actually is. How do I act socially? What we compare it to is, you don't go around the supermarket hugging everyone, do you? Because that's weird. But that's kind of what we've been teaching our dog to do. You see a person, go over, get attention. You see a dog, go over, get attention. We don't want them to do that. We want them to actually be social. Now, actually being social, all that means is you can be able to see a dog or person, kid, whoever, and just be able to walk past them. Now, obviously, if they engage with you, or if they engage with the owner, then you can take the next step. You can maybe get a stroke or play or whatever. But if they don't engage first, then just ignore them. Because that's all we do as people. We walk past people down the high street, wherever. We're not going around shaking everyone's hand, are we? We might have a quick glance, see who they are. Oh, I don't recognise them, keep moving. That's what we want our dog to do. Now, there's two main ways that I'll socialise a dog. The first one's with other dogs, and the second one's with other people. Now, with dogs, what I need to do is I need to show them that they can play with other dogs, but on my terms. So whenever they see a dog, their first instinct isn't, I'm going to go over and I'm going to play. It's going to be, there's a dog there, look up at you as the owner. Can I go over there? They're pretty much asking for permission. So how we do this is, whenever they see a dog, even if it's, let's say, one we wanted to play with, we get them to sit down first. This puts them in a calm, kind of relaxed position, which helps settle them down, takes the adrenaline and kind of takes that edge off. Then we wait there until they fully relax. A lot of the time, the first couple of times they see a dog, they're going to be tense, they're going to be rigid, they're going to be stiff. As soon as they relax and they go, as soon as they do that with their body language, I know they're finally relaxed. They're not thinking as much about engaging with that dog. They just think the dog's there. It might take a bit longer at first. Some dogs, 5, 6, 7 minutes just to actually relax. But once they finally get there, then it's up to you to decide whether they're allowed to go over and play or not. A good thing to practice is do this with dogs that they're not just going to play with. If you only do this with dogs, let's say you go out with your neighbour or something, and you say, oh, meet me over at the field. Well, I'm going to practice this thing that George said in the video. Okay, sit down, relax, whatever. And then by the time he reacts, you let them both off lead to go and play. All this does, if you only do it with people you know, is get the dog to fake relaxing quicker because they want to go over and play quicker. So like, oh, there's a dog. Okay, I'll overly do my body language relax. So then you'll let me go. And as soon as you do that, they're still mental. They're still thinking about pulling. And then the one time where, let's say you see a dog and you don't want them to interact with them, you do this. You try and walk past them after that. You think your dog's relaxed. They're not. They're not in a calm headspace because they've just been faking the behaviours. So let's say you think they're relaxed and you go to move on. They're not relaxed. So they go mental. They're jumping up. They're pulling. They're dragging. They're doing all that. You need to make sure that you're doing it with not just dogs that they're going to be able to play with eventually, but all dogs. Because then this gets actual relaxation and and gets them actually looking to you for guidance. If they think that every time I'm always going to go over and play, they're not actually asking for permission, are they? They're just waiting for the cue. They're not saying, can I go over there? They're saying, when can we go over there? So make sure you're doing it with not just dogs that they're going to go over and play with, but doing it with everyone. If anything, it's probably better to do like 80% with dogs they're not going to play with, and then 10 to 20% with the dogs they will play with. Because then it'll you'll get overwhelmingly better results out of that because they're going to look to you more often for more guidance because they want to go over and play. As well, if you want to kind of get a cherry on top, with the dogs that they're not going to play with, give them a reward when they do relax, but the reward comes from you instead. So whether that's play, like with a toy, or treats, or strokes, or whatever. Because what we don't want is to kind of, it's called like the red button effect. If you see a big red button and you say, don't press that button, your first thought is, I want to press that button. So if every time they see a dog, we say, you're not going to be able to go over there, then what do they want to do? They're thinking, I really want to go over there. So what we can do instead is kind of take the positive away from the other dog, like the idea of the positive away from the other dog, and direct it towards us. So instead of it being, you can't play with that dog, unlucky, let's get going, be, you can't play with that dog, but you can play on me instead. Because then as well, what can happen is they'll see a dog and they'll stop getting excited about the other dog. They'll get more excited about you. And because you're supposed to be the center of their world, you're the one that gives them all the guidance. It's a really good thing them being excited about you. So in either way, they're getting a positive from you or the other dog. And because if you're doing like 80% dogs they're not allowed to play with, and then 20% the dogs they are allowed to play with, overwhelmingly they're going to think the fun's always going to come from you. Whenever they see a dog, they might not even pay attention to that dog. They have a quick glance and then just stare at you the whole time, waiting for you to be fun. That's a perfect thing in my books anyway. Now, when it comes to people coming over and stroking your dog, it's the same idea. I still want them to relax. I still want them to sit down. But now, all that happens is I tell the other person, you can come over, you can stroke them, but it's anytime she stands up, just stay still, let me sit her down again, let her relax, and then you can come a bit closer. So then this way, your dog learns that whenever they want to stroke, they just have to act calm. You have to relax, you got to settle, and then eventually you'll get the stroke. Now, I'm quite, especially when they're a bit younger, I try to keep people away. I say, sorry, she's in training, sorry this, because I don't want a dog getting really excited at such a young age at other people, because it's harder for them to realise that not everyone's going to be fun. But obviously you get the odd person here and there that won't take no for an answer. So you're like, yeah, all right, you can stroke her, but just give me a sec, let me settle her down. And anytime she stands up, stop stroking her, or stop coming closer. And yeah, it's a good way to teach her just to relax, because then both ways, whether it's around dogs or other people, your dog's learning that to get what I want, I've got to relax. So if your dog, let's say, wants to leave the front door to go out on a walk, they think, well, whenever I'm out and I want to get a stroke, I've got to relax. Or whenever I'm out and I want to play, I've got to relax. Okay, I want to get out this front door, what should I do? Okay, I'll relax. Then your dog sits there, they're patient, they're waiting, and then it just makes leaving the house a lot easier. And calmness is such a better thing to build off of, because calmness takes all the impulsiveness out of it. You got to think, the more impulsive your dog is, the less they think. And if your dog's not thinking, then they're not thinking about the training that you've been doing with them. A lot of the time, impulsiveness just kind of takes them back to being an animal, back to their like natural drives. There's a squirrel, I need to chase it. That's impulsive nature. What the training does is tell them to think, there's a squirrel, I shouldn't chase it, he's going to be fun instead. Okay, I'll be with you. That's what the training does. But if we can't get them to think first, then the training might as well go out the window, especially in the early stages. As you get further and further into the training, you make a shift from logical to, or like the conscious mind to the unconscious mind, so it becomes second nature. But in that initial stages where they have to think through things, there's a person, I really want to go over there, oh, but I shouldn't because of him, or because he's going to be fun. Or there's a dog, okay, no, okay, I'll settle, I'll relax, I'll calm down. Now, if they're not taking that logical approach, if they're just thinking impulsiveness, there's a person, I'm going, the training might as well not work. So if we can just learn or get them to get used to the fact of whenever I want something, I've got to be calm first. The calmness is what gets them thinking, and the thinking is what gets them behaving. So it's all like a full circle thing. How I try to do everything with training, it doesn't matter what it is. It all has to kind of help other areas. So I'm going off on a tangent here, but I don't just teach lead manners to stop you from pulling. I teach lead manners to show respect. I teach lead manners to show that I'm the one that's leading a walk, so I'm the leader. I'm the one that gives the guidance. And then when I'm, let's say, doing recall and my dog's off lead, when I call them back, I'm not just some weirdo that's calling, oh, who's that guy? Oh, I don't even care. I've got all the fun over here. They think, the leader's called me back. It must be something important then. Okay, I'll come back. Same with reactivity. When we're doing, let's say, lead manners, part of what we do is what we call an assumed heel, where as we're walking, they look over to us just for that little bit of guidance. Are we going to stop now? Are we going to turn now? Because it's like a subconscious or like a checking in. What are we doing now? What are we doing now? What are we doing now? Because I want them to mirror what I do. If I stop, I want them to stop. If I turn, I want them to turn. So when they get used to this routine of just checking in with me, then when they see a dog they're thinking about reacting at, they're like, there's a dog there, what are we doing? Because they're so used to mirroring me. So you can kind of see now how every little aspect of the training that we do all stems into another. We don't just do lead manners for lead manners' sake or socialising for socialisation's sake. We do it because it helps other areas and makes our whole life easier. I don't want to have to work on every little bit individually. I don't want to have to work on, or I don't want to have to work on everything in a major way. I want to give myself the kind of the best advantage I've got to get what I want the quickest. I don't want to. Let's blank canvas. We've got a dog. They know nothing. They misbehave at everything. They react. They pull. They don't come back when we call them. Whatever. I don't want to have to work on lead manners and recall and reactivity all separately because it's going to take me 3 times as long. If lead manners stems into the recall, and then both of them can stem into showing me or showing the dog that I'm the leader, I'm the one that gives the guidance, and then that can feed into the reactivity. So they think, oh, I don't have to react anymore. I can just see what he's doing, my owner, and then we can go from there. Then everything just all comes together. It all kind of, your dog picks it up a lot quicker. And also it all sticks a lot better. If you only do lead manners for lead manners' sake and recall for recall's sake and reactivity for reactivity's sake, then you're only practicing or you're only maintaining that behaviour whenever you're doing it. You're only maintaining the lead manners whenever you're walking them on a short lead. You're only maintaining the recall when they're off lead or when they're at a distance. Same with reactivity whenever they're around another dog. But because of how we do it, when we're doing lead manners, we're also maintaining the recall because we're building that structure, that guidance, that leadership. Same with reactivity. Whenever our dog's off doing recall, they know that, oh, he's the boss, he's the leader. So then when they're on a short lead and they're walking next to us, they see another dog. Or even when they're off lead, they see another dog. They think, oh, there's a dog there. I've got to go tell the leader. Sometimes there's been situations where I haven't even taught a dog something, but because of the structure and the guidance that we give them, they've just chosen to do the behaviour that in my mind I want. Literally, I've had it before where we had a dog on a long line. Dog was proper reactive. I've only seen it for maybe 45 minutes. Dog was proper reactive. We did the lead manners, so I was doing a bit of recall just to wrap the session up. And then another dog turned up. Dog was off lead. Dog was going mental, barking, chasing her, whatever. So in my mind, I'm thinking, I've got to get this dog back. The dog's just met me, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't even have to say anything. As soon as she saw that other dog, and I don't know if I said, but the dog I've got on this long line, she's reactive, she's mental, she's got attacked by another dog before, so she's proper wary of other dogs. She saw this other dog, and her first thought, she ran back to me and sat down in front of me and smiled. Like, I didn't teach her any of that. We was literally just working on the recall. So the idea that just off of doing lead manners for half hour, 40 minutes, whatever, and then wrapping up the session with recall, just a bit of practice, then how can she, logically, when an hour ago she was reacting at everything, wouldn't come back, wouldn't listen, would pull, whatever, how would a dog that's been attacked, done all of this, why would she choose to come back to me and kind of not sacrifice herself, but surrender to what she thinks is right? In her mind, what's right is, I've got to react, I've got to attack, I've got to defend myself. The fact that she would surrender that idea in her mind to come back to me and then sit down, which is submissive, which shows that she trusts me, and then not worry about that dog and look at me and smile. Why would a dog do that? Especially when she's done 5 minutes of recall training, so she barely knows recall, and we've done no reactivity training, so she has no idea not to react. All we've done is walk her on a lead. But all of these areas stem together, and they all come together to teach them what we want. Now, I might have been going on a bit of a tangent here, but once you get me talking about dogs, you won't stop me. But hopefully you understand what I've been going on about in this lesson. I know it's kind of been dragging on a bit, and I've been going off on tangents, but hopefully you understand. Go back to whatever the video was on about, socialisation. You socialise a dog. All socialisation really means is showing them how to be social. So don't let them run over to every dog they see. Don't let them run over to every person they see. Get them to sit down. Get them to be calm. Get them to relax. If you're not going to let them go over and play with the thing they want to go over and play with, then you become the fun instead when they relax. And if you want to see a bit more about socialisation and about every part of the walk, so recall, reactivity, lead manners, and all that, I've got a Skool community where we cover everything in detail. We do weekly Q&As. Any questions you got, you can put them in there. Also, there's like a video section, so you upload videos of your training, we review it, we send you back kind of personalised feedback to help you get that extra little bit of boost, and you get 7 days for free anyway, so you might as well try it. The first link in the description, click that, and I'll see you there.